Shakalaka. What's going on, everybody? Randall here from Crypto Love, and today I am joined by none other than Ivan Poon, the CEO of Switcheo. What's going on, Ivan? How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy to see you. It's awesome. I'm excited about Switcheo, and I'm excited to talk with you about Switcheo. So before we get into that, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into crypto.
Yeah, so I actually got into crypto quite long ago. Started with looking at Bitcoin and then Ethereum. And recently, we've been really interested in Neo, which is basically the first blockchain that Switcheo actually built on. It's slightly more centralized, but I mean, you get all the pros that you actually gain from having less nodes in general, right? So that's why the initial version of Switcheo, it's pretty fast compared to the other dexes out there.
Mm-hmm. Great. And so I guess tell us about Switcheo. For anyone new, what's the elevator pitch?
All right. So Switcheo, it's a decentralized exchange. Can talk more about what's a decentralized exchange later compared to a centralized exchange that maybe more people are used to. So there are a couple of decentralized exchanges already out there, but Switcheo is really the first one that's on the Neo blockchain. So, and more importantly, I think it's that Switcheo it's really focused on the user experience, not just the technical aspects of being decentralized. So when you actually use Switcheo, and if you've used any other exchanges before, like I don't know, Binance, Bittrex, whatever, it's actually going to be very familiar. It's going to be really intuitive to actually trade on our platform compared to the dexes out there like iDex or Delta or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I really liked about Switcheo is the way it looks, the user experience. I mean, it looks so clean, so easy to use. And then just recently you have the ledger integration, which makes it even easier to use for anyone who has like a little ledger. That makes it kind of a lot different from a lot of the other dexes out there.
Right. So, yeah. So, actually, that's not all. We actually just hired like a couple of UI UX designers, and we really want to improve even the onboarding process for new users. So actually, that's quite a lot of exciting things coming up. So some of them are going to be announced really soon. But I think eventually, Switcheo will be a kind of place that even they will be friendly not just to people who have traded on centralized exchanges before, but also to even newcomers of crypto. In terms of let's say if I have I don't even have any Neo or Ether, you can actually get started right on Switcheo itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, definitely, I think it's just by having it look better than the other platforms alone. I mean, that'll be a big thing. But you also have basically any project is pretty much as soon as the ICO is done, as soon as the tokens are available, they're pretty much available on Switcheo. Yes.
Yeah. So that's one of our features, or one of our strengths, because we don't have we are completely decentralized. So that's one of the things we can do. And eventually, when Neo actually upgrades their system to the next version, we actually start allowing people to enter their own contract or script hashes, token hashes, and then start trading immediately once their tokens are unlocked.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. So I was curious what you thought about that, because back in like December and January, we saw a lot of really big price fluctuations with ICOs just because of, I think it was partially because of the amount of time from when the ICO ended until they were seen on exchanges and actually the availability of getting on exchanges. Now, with a lot of the Neo ICOs being on exchanges and potentially in the future more ICOs because you're planning on work on other platforms as well, other blockchains as well. Do you think that's going to change the way that, the prices jump so dramatically with ICOs?
Right. Getting prices, I'm not really a day trader. I trade a lot, but yeah, I'm not sure whether prices are due to the delay between the ICO did and when they actually start trading, or is it just the general market like Bitcoin? But on the other hand, I think it's really it's the whole point of tokenization, or like moving assets of value onto the blockchain, onto a decentralized platform, so that you can actually democratize how you actually transfer, how you trade, or how you use certain all these assets, all this value. So it doesn't really make sense to not be able to trade the token. If not, why even have to? So I think that's where our philosophy, or where our stand is. And that's why we have been listing tokens really from day one.
Okay. So it's been said a lot that like decentralized exchanges are the big topic for 2018. Now, there's a lot of decentralized exchanges out there, and I'd kind of like to know why Switcheo as opposed to the other ones. And then I've also seen that you talk about that you're not even competing with other decentralized exchanges. You're more competing with Binance and KuCoin and the really large players in the market. So could you kind of talk about those two things?
Yeah. So I mean, we've already spoken about the strength of decentralized exchanges. Besides being more open to being open to users actually adding their own. I mean, choosing which tokens they actually want to trade. And on top of that, you have the security benefits of controlling your own, or rather retaining custody of your assets throughout the whole trading process. Besides all that, that's also besides all that, basically, what the current decentralized exchanges lack is really in the design, in terms of educating users on how to actually use the DEX. So actually, once that is settled, or once that is done, right, I think eventually it does make sense for exchanges to move to at least a hybrid implementation, or even to really decentralize how the base layer, the settlement layer, where assets are stored, where assets are secured. Yeah. If not, then I think the whole cryptocurrency movement, or the whole blockchain movement, doesn't really make sense. And I also think that's why if you look at the big players like Binance and what's the other one? I think it was Coinbase.
Okay, Exchange or QRB.
So if you look at the large central exchanges like Binance, they're actually starting their own DEX. Their own Coinbase actually bought the DEX, DEX, because while we are competing upwards, they realized that they need to compete downwards with us as well. Downwards in terms of decentralization.
Gotcha. So I'm curious, what are you really excited about Switcheo? What gets you really excited about Switcheo?
Everything. So for the immediate future, we are really excited for our next version. So it's an upgrade in terms of the trading engine mainly, where we pull some of the order books off chain so that we can execute faster. With that, we really can improve the liquidity. So that's one of the things we're really looking at the moment. Once you have the liquidity, then like we mentioned earlier, then we can really go head to head with the central exchanges, because that's where they are stronger at the moment. I mean, because their liquidity, it's easier to provide when you centralize the book, and then you can basically make orders quickly. You can basically churn. I mean, I don't know what they do, but basically they can attract more volume much more easily. So with V2, you can actually compete in this aspect as well. Um, on top of that, we have like so many improvements in our next version in terms of the user interface. We have mobile friendly interface. And actually, very shortly after, we're going to launch the Ethereum and Qtum blockchains. So the other thing about trading and about volume and about centralized exchanges versus decentralized exchanges is that right now all the decentralized exchanges are scoped to a single blockchain. Right? They are like IDEX is for the Ethereum market. Right now, as Switcheo, we are actually only on the neo blockchain, so we only trade neo tokens. But that's not what traders actually want. If you look at all our tokens, or if you look at tokens in general, most of them are paired against Ethereum or even Bitcoin, even though the tokens are not on those blockchains. And they can do that because of the centralization, right? So that's why we're actually very excited about, and that's why we're working very hard at to be able to really trade across the different pairs, across the different blockchains, but still in a trustless way, in a decentralized way. Yeah. So that's really exciting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. The cross-chain trading will be awesome because you'll be like the first exchange, decentralized exchange to do that, right?
All right. So on the lower level, on the technical level, you're also talking to a lot of protocol developers, a lot of chains or protocol developers to really allow us to do this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you're like aiming to nail all the firsts. The first decentralized exchange on Neo, the first one on Qtum, the first cross-chain decentralized exchange, just nailing all the firsts.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So can you tell us a little bit about how the token works, the Switcheo token works?
So currently, Switcheo works in the same. It's basically used as a fee token, as well as a base pair or a base trading pair on our exchange. Meaning, yeah. So fee meaning that instead of paying in terms of whatever token that you're buying or selling, you actually can pay using Switcheo token. If you do that, you get a 50% discount off the value, the converted value in Switcheo tokens. So the other thing also, it's we're going to use it as a mechanism for the cross-chain transfers, and there is a chance that we will also do if we decide to go on a blockchain or a protocol level kind of mechanism for our cross-chain trading, then we will probably port our Switcheo token to be a native token or basically to the cross-chain protocol or blockchain. So, but that's still in discussion. We should have a decision really soon.
Cool. So, and then can you tell us a little bit about the team and maybe any advisors that you have? Just a brief overview.
Right. So, we concluded our token sale just 1 or 2 months ago, I think. So since then, we actually grew our team a lot. We just started with the 4 co-founders, right? But then now we have a team of about at least 15 people. 8 of them are developers actually, and the rest are marketing. So we're really focused on both on just development and marketing. We try not to spend too much on the other aspect. So for the co-founders, we actually had Jack. I think you met him already. So he's in charge of business development. The other three founders was CTO Henry. He's done a lot of blockchain stuff before this, and then Ping Chang, he's also a technical founder. Besides our founders, I think we really have a lot of strong advisors like Crystal, who's an advisor for marketing. Zalika actually, we are doing really well right now. And also Roger Lim, who's the head of the Neo investment firm, NGC. So that's our current team, basically.
Yeah. Great. So I guess if anything that we didn't talk about, what have you got upcoming, or like what's in the roadmap? I know you mentioned cross chain. Anything else?
So I think that's really our roadmap for this year. But for the really short term, we will have an event sometime next week and following week where we are going to invite people to really play with our data on V2. I'm not sure if Ethereum will be included, but that's going to be a timed event, and it's going to be short, but it's going to be very intensive because we're going to simulate real world trading for our version 2 of our order matching. And there's actually like rewards and stuff like that for participating. And if you actually manage to find a bug, which there shouldn't be anymore at this time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw you've got the Switch to Switcheo campaign out there to try and get people to switch over to using decentralized exchanges.
Yeah. So that's one of our marketing campaigns. There's actually a lot more for V2 that's coming up too. For trading competition coming up, we have a giveaway. And we actually have an API development contest that for people who actually develop on our API for version 2. Yeah, some more we look it up to I think 50,000 USD just for creating APIs for either for other people to use or for just even implementing your own whatever liquidity making boards or I don't know, arbitrage boards, whatever developers are interested in. So at the moment we have 0% maker fees, so it's actually really attractive for traders, for developers who are inclined in this field to actually be able to make money out of it.
Mm-hmm. Do you foresee decentralized exchanges completely taking over centralized exchanges?
In a way, eventually I think the exchanges will move to a model where at least the settlement layer is decentralized in the sense that the user still controls the funds. Then there will be the degree of decentralization. It really depends on how ahead of the curve the exchange is. The more ahead you are, the more you can decentralize your exchange without actually compromising on the speed and on the usability of the exchange itself. So, and that's actually where we want to be at. We want to be as trustless as possible, but then really be able to do millisecond kind of confirmations for the users and for our API for the bots.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Well, I think you're well on the way with having the really nice look to your exchange, because I mean it looks really nice, and then just when the liquidity's there, boom, people won't even know the difference, you know? Yeah. Cool. So anything else that you'd like to discuss? Anything else I didn't cover?
I think covered quite a bit. Yeah. Yeah, nothing at the moment, but yeah, do stay tuned to what will be happening by the end of the month for our supporters.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, very cool. I do appreciate you joining us for this interview. It was an absolute pleasure. And then have a good one, all right?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.